I'm upset. No disrespect, respectfully. But disrespectfully is disrespect. Don't be disrespectful. Those vile, disgusting Spartans. Poor little girl, them. And I'm gonna tell them why I'm mad. That vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus. The other state, and of course, as always, I'm upset. Good evening, good people. It is I, the Maize Madman. To my left,
the Maniac.
Down below,
Kinetic.
Hey, yo, it never gets old. Anyway, guys, we got a dope show lined up for you today. Obviously, it is hate week. We're gonna get there. Shout out to my guy, the Maniac, and those gloves. Those are fire. We definitely gonna talk about the other state. We got to talk about them today. We're gonna get into the good, the bad, the ugly, of course, because that's what we do. We got the good, we got the bad, we got ugly, and world premiere today. Intro for the good, the bad, and the ugly. So check that out. Be ready for that. Also, we'll do a short recap of Northwestern, just to give our quick thoughts on that. Although I'm sure some of that will come out in the good, the bad, the ugly, and what Michigan needs to do to get the victory this Saturday. All of that, of course. Shout out to Posh. Thank you for the continued support. We appreciate it here at the channel. Absolutely. She is a fan of that vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus, but she's what we call one of the good ones. So be sure to follow Posh and support what she's got going on. Her daughter is in the best. Almost said it. Her daughter is in the Ohio State band. So, she's got to support on that account. That said, let's get to it, guys. The good, the bad, the ugly, like only we can do here at the Maize Madman channel. And here's your world premiere, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, the Maize Madman, Maniac, and Kinetic proudly present to you the good, the bad, the ugly. Yo, some of the people won't get the cultural hits there, but it was fire. Admit it, you liked it. Everybody enjoyed it.
Sam could say, wow. Yeah, you went right there. That's
ugly. By the way, for people who didn't know who Shabba Ranks was, he was in there.
First slide.
Do your homework. Let's get started though. Kinetic, the good, the bad, the ugly. What you got for us?
So for the good, I'm gonna say it was an all around good thing, man. Our team finally looked like they're playing like a team. They're playing. It felt like all cylinders were firing for the first time in the season. Should have been like that coming out of training camp, but it is what it is. We've exhausted the reasons why that could be, at this point. But the fact that we looked like a team, like an actual team with weapons that were on the same page with each other, and I think a lot of that goes to the play calling. So you know what I'm going to say? It's the play calling. The good was the play calling.
Right.
For the bad, I'm going to say the bad was that while we got to see some of the young guys, Jaden Davis got in the game, he didn't throw a pass. Micah Campana got in the game, didn't get a carry. I would have liked to see more from those guys. If we're going to put them in, let's actually do something with them, not just put them in to make an appearance. And the ugly, there wasn't really a whole lot of ugly from this week, so I'm going to go with the interception. Who was he throwing to? Was he trying to throw it to, who was that? Loveland that was over the middle? He threw it like 3 feet behind him, right to the other guy. I love Davis Warren. I've always supported him, but I'm going to call it out. That was a bad throw.
Absolutely. No, I agree 1000%. Mello has entered the chat. 5 more days. No doubt about it. By the way, in 4 more days, you could check myself and the Maniac out on Mello's pod. So be sure to check us out over there. Remind me what the name is, man, because I'm gonna say the wrong one. I got 2 in my head. I'm gonna say the wrong one. I don't want to do that. But we will be over there 6 to 7. That's our slot, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. because I think they're going like all day, he said. So it should be an interesting one. Maniac, the good, the bad, the ugly for you, my guy.
Yeah, man. So, the good, man. In fact, it was the great. Forget the good. That was just a great showing all around. When you look at everything, the defense, the offense, the special teams, the coaching, the attitude, the body language, everything you saw on the team, man, was something we've been looking for from week 1 that we haven't seen not one time this whole season. Now, by it, we did see the defense has started to come along ever since the second half of the Oregon game, and Wink's been dialing it up, man. The defense been in tune. These guys now finally look like they know what they need to do. They know their assignments. Jay Sean is playing like the guy we expected him to be from the day he stepped on campus, and now this team looks like a team, right? Now, but again, I'm a person that I don't get ahead of myself, right?
Right.
It's consistency. One thing, remember what Dom said, he'll probably be joining us soon. Michigan has been consistent and being inconsistent, right? So let's see what happens this coming Saturday, right? Even though we're going to get to that, I don't want to get into that. So We'll see, man. But that was the good, man. Just all around, finally, a game that even in the win, we could say that was a win. Opposed to the other wins, and we're like, oh my God, I don't even want to look at the highlights, even though we won. Then we'll come to and then on top of the good, I know this is like a bonus good. We got Bryce Underwood, right? There was good news from a couple of days going into that game, and you can see it, bro. It just went right into the game, and just by him committing, has that now turned this team like, yo, listen, we Michigan, bro. Like what we've been doing all season. So hopefully that positive momentum, it carried into Saturday, and hopefully it carries over to next Saturday. Now, the bad, I'm going to mix it with the ugly. The bad and the ugly is still Davis Warren and his happy feet. He's like, wait, who? Here we go. Here we go, Davis. But he corrected that, and just like a cornerback, right? Short memory. A quarterback has to have short memory. You threw that INT, and he played a hell of a game after that. Did Michigan stop throwing the ball? No, they said, we got confidence in you, boy. Let's do what you do. And he did what he did, man. He managed the game well. And that's what we asking for him. And that's all we wanted to see all season. We said want to see 50 points a game. But I'm just glad that this team is just, they going into the week giving us some kind of hope, right? Because if it would have been like a 13-10 game and it was sloppy, you're like, oh, man, here we go. Yeah, next week just might get real ugly. And it still can. But the point is this. The team is playing like the team. So that's that, man.
Absolutely. Before we get on, we got some people in the chat we got to say hi to. Obviously, Marmar is here. We got to acknowledge Marmar. Rip Star is in the building. DK was in the building earlier. I saw DK. For sure. We got to acknowledge the guys. Kiyoki Kapana is in the chat. Shout out to that, man. Definitely love to see that. My guy Brandon K is here. We already said Rip Star. If I'm missing somebody, it's not on purpose. Trust me. Shout out to Bryce. He says, I was wondering if somebody could gift me a membership. I really enjoy watching the channel, but money is tight right now. No doubt. You hold on to that thought, Bryce. If nobody got you, I got you. But shout out to Bryce for that. Lich Max is also in the chat. We can't forget that.
Lich Max was going in the chat.
Also saw Kinetic responding to people in the chat. Obviously, this was done before Kinetic was even a part of the show before we made the DEI hire to bring Kinetic on. Mello had already, asked us to be a part of that show. So it's no shade. Of course, we would never leave the brother out intentionally or anything like that. But either way, let me get to my good, my bad, my ugly. Obviously, the good, the team camaraderie on senior day, right? They sent those guys out the right way. A big win against Northwestern, who was very much so overmatched, right? It wasn't like, this was ever going to be a game, even for a Michigan team that struggled on offense all season, right? It just so happened that they they were a coming out party for this offense, and I think the extra emotion of it being the final home game for guys like Donovan Edwards, that sort, even Khalil Mullins, right? That energy helped. Also, let's not forget the number one recruit in the country was on campus, and early on you saw it with the passes. They were trying to prove a point, trying to dress it up a little bit. That said, Davis Warren still, and we got to laugh about this, Davis Warren still found a way to go 100 for 120 for 199 yards. But shout out to Davis Warren, who did, have a solid game outside of that interception. Mello just became a member. Shout out to Mello, man. A real one, because he does not have to become a member of this show. This is obviously a show that shows a lot of hate towards the team he roots for. By the way, Mello, this was a bad week to do this. Don't have me saying nice things about you this week, sir. This is not the week for that.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, that said, let me get to the bad. The bad, I thought, was guys like Micah Kaapana, guys like Jaden Davis. I got to piggyback off of what Kinetic said. Those guys got in the game, but they didn't get a lot of touches. Micah got that, the reverse or whatever, that I thought, if blocked up a little better, could have been better. I'm not going to get into the specifics about that, but obviously the people who know he was in the game earlier with the earlier in the game. Let me just say that, and he didn't get the ball that time, but he just seeing him out there was encouraging, and hopefully that's something that he can build on, something that the team builds on. I'd love to see him in the game against Ohio State. I know it's going to be a high leverage game, but we'll get to that in a second. And then the ugly can only be the one thing, right? And that is Davis Warren throwing that in, Make-A-Wish Warren throwing to the other team.
Yeah.
So that can't happen. I'm sure that he knows that. I'm sure that they talked about that after the game all during the week this week, because trust me, he can't give the ball away on Saturday, or it's going to be a long night or long day. A day that was already scheduled to be long for Michigan can get longer. And I'm not saying that Michigan is going to lose the game at all. I'm just saying it's going to take a very, very solid effort from everybody for Michigan to pull this win off. We'll get to that in a second, though. Everybody, you good with your picks for the good, the bad, the ugly? Everybody happy with that? Up next, we're going to be talking about the Northwestern game just a little bit. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this because we did do an immediate reaction, obviously. So we don't need to spend a lot of time on it. That said, I thought it was a complete game, the most complete game for Michigan all season by far, by like a lot. You know what I mean? Michigan's played some worse teams than Northwestern, right? I'd say Arkansas State is worse than Northwestern, but Michigan didn't look nearly this good against Arkansas State. On a neutral field, I picked Northwestern to beat Fresno State. They didn't look nearly this good against Fresno State. And in both of those games, I think they had Will Johnson in those games for Correct. At least some of it. And they didn't look this good. We'll start with you this time, Maniac. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, man. Listen, people gonna say, oh, it was Northwestern. And it's true. I'm not saying Northwestern is some world beater, because they're not. But anybody, even the haters that see Michigan this season, know that no one expected Michigan to win in this fashion. And it wasn't in dominant fashion. And Michigan's offense hasn't scored 30 points the whole season. Their offense. They score 48, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't like to use, like they say, the transitive property and blah, blah, blah. But Ohio State, because my man Garrison, y'all scored 2 touchdowns. Indiana scored 2 touchdowns against you. I don't know why it's that. I say, yes, you do. Because it was they scored 2 touchdowns. Oh, that was garbage time. Well, that Michigan game was garbage time from mid of the third quarter, and Northwestern didn't score a touchdown. So this team is locked in, man. This is what we wanted to see, right? Even though we did pick Michigan to go 12-0, right? But the point is this: if Michigan would have been playing like this from week 1, this consistency, we're probably going into this game 10-1, because that Oregon game was still for the taking. Let's not make no bones about that. That wasn't just a blowout. So I think the Texas game probably is the only game that I just feel that, damn, they just was really better than us. Every other team, every other game was there, but just great all around corners. Remember, Jair. Listen, I hate watching.
It's Jair.
Jair Hill, aka Sugar Hill. It didn't even start. It was Amir Hall and Zeke Berry with the corners for this game, right? So it gives me confidence that we've been playing without Will Johnson for how many weeks? Because come Saturday, we're gonna need that secondary, and they're gonna make plays. We just can't break. We could bend, but don't break. So I like the secondary. They play well. Our defensive man, Josiah Stewart, again, shows why he's the best defensive end in the Big Ten. Yeah, I'll say it again. For the
listen, he might be the best defensive end in the country. Shout out to the Zulu King, and thank you for the $4.99 super chat. He says, do y'all think it's going to be an upset?
We're going to get into it.
We're going to get there, Zulu King. Hold your horses. We're gonna get there. I promise you.
Just to wrap it up, man. For as far as the Northwestern, that's a well-coached team, and no one's beating them the way Michigan did this year, and that was just great to see. They just took the life out of them early, man, and they kept their foot on their neck. Exactly what we've been seeing in the last 3 seasons from this Michigan program.
Absolutely. Really quick, before we get to you, Kinetic, I just wanted to get on this this comment. Jeez Louise said, I think Moore was calling the plays. We said that immediately after the game. It did feel like a Sharon Moore called play, or called game. And I think even during the broadcast, they made mention of Sharon Moore having his hands on the playbook or on the play calling this week. Now, whether or not he caught every play or whatever, I do believe he was a big part of the game plan, a bigger part than he's been all season, for sure, without a doubt. All right, Kinetic, what are your short thoughts on Northwestern, sir?
I mean, on the game itself, I just think that we, like I said earlier, we played a complete game. I loved watching it, and I don't want to sound like I was down on the fact that our guy Micah got in the game and Jaden got in the game and Curtis had his first interception. I love seeing the guys out there getting their first reps. I popped every time I saw somebody on the field for the first time, and I'm really happy for them. I just wish that we would have, especially with a lead like that, I wish we would have done more to try to get them a little bit of time to showcase what they can do. But outside of that, I just think we played a good game.
Was that a Pokemon?
No, that was I forgot to turn the ringer off on my phone. It's the ringtone for anybody that watches Supernatural is the Ghost Facers theme. That's what that was. But no, I thought it was a good all around game, and it's what we should have been doing all year. It gives me hope for what we're going to be doing next year. I've been saying from the very first time I called in, give the coaching staff time. They need time to gel and get their scheme running the right way, specifically Wink on the defense. And you're seeing that over every game for the last 4 weeks. You've seen it get better and better. You see the guys buying in and getting into the scheme, understanding it better, knowing their positioning, and at the same time, you're seeing Wink adapt to the college game. Just like I said, he came from the NFL. He was used to guys being able to process things like the top 1% of college players. I mean, the worst players he had in the NFL were the best players in college. And he had to adapt to that. He had to adapt to the different play calling, the styles that you see in college that you don't see in the NFL. He had to adapt. And he's doing it. Just because it didn't happen overnight or in one shortened off season doesn't mean he's not a good coach. And
Right.
and I've been saying it, and now I'm saying going into next year, I'm excited, man.
Absolutely. 1000%. I agree with everything both of you said. I wanted to get to before we get to Blue Wolverine, and shout out to Blue Wolverine, man. Another supporter of the channel. We appreciate it. He has gifted 5 Maize Madman memberships to 5 lucky people in the chat. So be sure to thank Blue Wolverine for that. That's big, man. And you didn't have to do that, but he did it. He also became a member, so shout out to Blue Wolverine for that, becoming a member. And if you aren't a member, become a member. That said, my quick recap of the game. Bless you. Salute. My quick recap of the game. Obviously, like I said, Michigan had its most complete game. That's clear. The fact that Sharon Moore had his hands on the play calling, right, was clear as day, especially with the running in that game. That was amazing, right? So that was really good. I thought all the running backs really that got in the game and played had good showings, right? Khalil Mullins ran hard. We expect that. Pause.
Hey, our guy Dunlap.
The Don, right? I was gonna get there. The Don,
he said
had a good game. Even true freshman Jordan Marshall came in and ran hard. And Tavier Dunlap got into the end zone on his first play, from scrimmage in that game. So that was all a beautiful thing. I wish they would have, let Micah Kaipana get a few of those touches. That would have been great. I am very excited. If you can't tell, and if anybody can't tell, I'm very excited about the prospects of Micah Kaipana. He's a real home run hitter, and I would like to see him get on the field. So that is that. Ev, we're gonna get to that question in just a bit. By the way, Zulu King, thank you again for another $2 super chat. This time $1.99 super chat says, "Go Blue, Will Howard gun choke." Tell me, y'all. We about to get to that right now. Actually, we're getting into it. Is hate week, ladies and gentlemen. And I have been showing extra love to Buckeyes in the chat today. Don't expect that going forward. Ev, who is also a Buckeye fan. Real question, y'all happy with Tony Alford? Man, this is a great question, Ev. I think the jury's still out a little bit on Tony. I thought the development of Donovan Edwards this season, I thought Donovan Edwards was going to have a Heisman worthy season this year. Obviously, that didn't happen. I can't put all of that on Tony Alford because the Don's been here 3 years before Alford got here, but I did expect, him to have some sort of effect on that. Granted, Khalil Mullins has been the better running back this season. A lot of people were telling me that for weeks. I was refusing to hear it. I just think, Donovan Edwards, because of his ability to have explosive plays, was the better back. But I've been wrong all season on that. So I'm going to say this: the jury's still out. We did miss on a couple running back recruits that looked like they were cinched in. The guy I can't think of his name right now. He's from Cleveland, from the Cleveland area, committed to Kentucky. That looked like a Michigan home run, and obviously it didn't go our way. But the jury's still out on Tony Alford. That's a good question.
Yeah, I wasn't never really. I remember when Michigan got him, I was like, hey, whatever, I think it was for me more of a trolling thing. But yes, the jury is still out. But if we want to grade him based on this season, it hasn't been really, it's not a home run hire. But next year could be different. So yeah, we just can't base it off 1 year. But Ev, if you want the answer, he hasn't been what we thought he was going to be. And Ohio State fans weren't happy with him neither. In fact, they was like, thank you. You know, so we'll see next season. Michigan has a lot of talent in the backfield. So if it doesn't get it done, it's not because Michigan lacked talent in the backfield. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Kinetic, what's your thoughts?
I'll say personally, I kind of like Alfred. He was one of the guys I got to talk to for quite a bit, more than he really needed to stop and talk to us at the spring game. He was very personable. And if you remember, I think that was like a week or two after he came over.
It was, yeah.
And so, I mean, on a personal level, I like the guy. As far as a coach, I would say I still need time to evaluate, but I would say it's trending up. I haven't seen anything bad outside of maybe the running back rotation throughout the year.
Right.
But even that, I'm not sure how much of that is on Alfred. You know, how much of that is on Alfred versus Kurt Campbell or Sharon Moore? I don't know, because it's let's be honest, running back's not the only position where we had some questionable rotation throughout the year.
That's a fact.
So I would say he's trending up. I haven't seen much to detract from him, but it's still kind of wait and see.
Yeah. I think all of us are pretty much there. And just to add a little bit more, I can't really blame some of the results our running backs have had on him because of the play calling. A lot of these plays just seem to be up the middle. You know what I mean? It's just it wasn't a lot of creativity all season either. So I can't really give him a super fair assessment on that. But yeah, I think it's trending up, and the jury's still out. That's the sentiment. Shout out to Posh, Asian Posh Doreen, friend of the channel. She just became a member as well. By the way, what is going on, bro?
That's not right. That's reverse psychology, man. These guys are smart. These guys are real smart.
Yeah. They are coming in here with some different type of warfare today.
Yeah.
Because we had hellfire and brimstone waiting for y'all today. Posh, this isn't gonna save you from what we're about to get into. All right.
What it is that it's plausible deniability. See, if Ohio State wins, then they're good. They can say, "Oh, we were always with Ohio State." But if Michigan wins for a fourth year in a row, they've already started sandbagging that. They always been cool with Michigan. See, look, they were already members. They're gonna be making the switch. Watch, 4 years in a row. Can't stay behind the team when they do that.
Absolutely. It's hate week, ladies and gentlemen. It's here. It is upon us. Where we at, fellas? First of all, let me say this. Let's give a little backstory. I'm gonna give a little backstory. I'm not gonna be long-winded, I promise. I'm from the state of Ohio, right? Everybody knows that. I'm from the state of Ohio. Every member of my family, my father's side, my mother's side of the family, are fans of that vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus. All right. I am the black sheep.
Your mic. It cut out right as you were saying black sheep.
All right, there we go. I am the black sheep as I decided I like the Wolverines, right? That said, in the 90s, I was living the life, all right? Every year, pretty much. I'm not saying we won every year because that would be a lie, but that was a good time to be a Wolverines fan, right? Charles Woodson, the list goes on. I'm not gonna sit here and bog you guys down with that. Then there was a shift. The Buckeyes made a hire. That guy with the cutoff sweaters. It wasn't a cutoff sweater. It was just a, sweater vest. It was stupid, and it still is stupid. But he started taking Lloyd Carr's money.
Yeah.
He started stuffing Lloyd in the proverbial locker, as we like to say around here. And things got things got rough for us. Then y'all went from that, made another splash hire with Urban Meyer, who was stuffing Jim in the proverbial locker for a while.
All our coaches.
Stuffing every no, that's fair. Urban Meyer was stuffing every coach in the locker. And then now we are here in this era that we're in today with Ryan Day. And I wish this was the receipt show because I got my receipts ready, by the way. But Ryan Day is 1-3 against the Wolverines. Ryan Day has an excellent record against the rest of the Big Ten. He loses to the Wolverines and obviously Oregon now. He stuffs James Franklin in a locker on a yearly basis. It's a perennial locker stuffing for James Franklin when he plays Ryan Day. However, Ryan Day, in my opinion, is not who he portrays himself to be. Did you guys see the interview he had with Pat McAfee? And they were talking about Indiana and how good of a team they are. And he's like, "Oh, we are too." You know, that's just the kind of guy he is. He's the kind of guy that goes out here looking for Lou Holtz. He's still scratching off nursing homes off his list. He's been vandalizing nursing homes since that Notre Dame game last year, looking for Lou Holtz. That's who Ryan Day is. Ryan Day is a guy who uses blush weekly to coach his football team. He's the guy that thinks, blowing a whistle sporadically, running into his players is a good way to get them hype. Apparently the Buckeyes do too, so I can't take that away from him. But I hate everything about Ryan Day, except for the fact that he's the coach at the Buckeyes. And I hope you guys keep him. I hope after Saturday, when Michigan wins for the 4th year in a row, that, his house is still intact, that he doesn't need a police escort to leave, Ohio Stadium, that he is still the head football coach of that vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus. That's just how I feel about it. I'm gonna let you guys rock out.
Go ahead, Kinetic.
I just want a quick sidebar here. Apparently, the top kicker commit in the country who was committed to Iowa has decommitted and currently holds a Michigan offer.
Shout out to that. I mean, first of all, speak on that real quick. Michigan gets what they want at this time, all right? And I will give Ohio State credit because they saw the writing on the wall, and they are also in an arms race. They're the only team right now legitimately in this arms race with Michigan. I'm not saying that they're the only team that can, because there are some people who can turn it up in terms of this NIL thing. But right now, Michigan and Ohio State are doing numbers. But go ahead.
All right. Anyway, so here's the thing with Ryan Day. I think that he's good at getting the players to buy into his message, but it's just everything about him, man. It's like when I worked in the music industry, and I tell you, 99% of the people in that industry, it's all fake. It's all image that they cultivate. They're not really who they portray themselves as. And seeing Ryan Day out there, the way he wanted to fight an octogenarian after a game because he got his feelings hurt from a pregame comment, the like running up the score with a fake, like a victory formation.
Thank you.
Fake. Like what
was that?
The game was already won. That's just, there's no integrity there. And I mean, every loss is never his fault. He's always one play away. He never takes accountability for like why they actually lose games. And when they do lose games, he's over there yelling at the refs, crying to the refs, and then immediately after the game, I mean, within a couple of minutes after the game, he's on the phone with his AD. His AD then patches him through to Tony Petitti's office, and they get a rule change or they get an investigation. Every time, it's like there's no accountability for him ever being a bad coach, ever making a mistake. Other coaches make mistakes. They come out and say, I made a mistake. I got to do better. I'm going to do better next game. And they do it. I've never heard him once say, that's on me. It's always on somebody or something else. And then what was that thing that happened a couple weeks ago where someone asked him about the defensive rotations and he passed it off to the defensive coordinator. defensive coordinator passed it off to the defensive line coordinator. Is there no chain of command? Like, do you not have control over the team? Like, what is going on here? I just, like I said, it all comes to integrity and accountability, and I don't see it from Ryan Day, and that's my biggest problem.
No doubt. And I think we saved the best for last this week. My guy Maniac, hate week. Give us your thoughts. Let's talk about it.
First, let's get right. Yeah, let's get right to the meat and potatoes, man. We're talking about the other state, Ohio State. When you talk about hate, disgust, I hate that team. I hate their fan base. I hate their players. Respectfully, though. Respectful hate. Not no disrespecting towards nobody. Right? Me, like I said, I'm 43 years old. I saw Michigan whoop your ass a lot. Don't give me that, but since you've been alive, yeah, I seen Michigan whoop ass a lot. A lot. But one thing I'm tired of, this arrogant, cocky fan base from Columbus who hasn't won a damn thing in 5 years. When was the last time you won a Big Ten championship, Ohio State? COVID. We were going through a pandemic? When was that? For like 10 years ago. A pandemic is when you won your last Big Ten championship. And you here throwing shade at Michigan? Michigan's last 3-year run, Ohio State, is better than any 3-year run in your history. Google it. Google it. This last 3 seasons that Michigan's had is a better run than Ohio State has had in their entirety of their program. 3-year run I'm talking about. They never had a 3-year run like that. And it was capped by a national championship. Right? Now, another thing. Oh, how many teams since 2000 has 2 national? Well, in the last 30, Michigan 2 natties, Ohio State 2 natties. Oh, but that's a half a natty. Bro, it's a natty. Is it Michigan's fault that they felt bad for Tommy Osborne for retiring? And they said, well, you know what? Let's give them a share. When the world knows Michigan was the best team that season. And we were obligated to play in the Rose Bowl because of the contract. Because some of y'all don't know. Y'all was born in 2007. You bimbos. But anyway, let's get to it, man. For Michigan to beat this overrated, overhyped team in Columbus that they're all excited about is the defense, bro. It comes down to the trenches, man. It comes down, it's gonna be a fist fight. Who's gonna land the harder punches? They both gonna land punches. Who's gonna fall? Who's gonna get up? Who's gonna stay down?
Right.
We got the best D-line in the country. They have an injury-prone O-line. They injured, right? They still playing good. Grant, Graham, Stewart, Moore. I'm talking to you, Moore. I need more from you, Moore. Yeah, I need more from you, Moore. Because you've been MIA. You've been MIA. Stewart cooking. Grant cooking. Graham cooking. It's starting them trenches, fellas. And then them 2 guys behind them. Hausman and Jashawn, they better be on it, fellas. They need a tackle. This is not the game to miss tackles. This is not the game to miss tackles. They do that. Those 6, we're going to have an excellent shot of winning because I think the offense is going to score enough. Trust me. That defense is so damn overrated, man. I'm sorry. They look good again against the Mickey Mouse. Oh, but Indiana, we exposed them already. Before you, we exposed them already. Y'all not doing nothing different. We just couldn't score. Malpractice, right? Offensive malpractice. So, guys, defense, I'm talking to you guys. You got a quarterback. They got a quarterback in Will Howard that we know that he got that choking syndrome. Or is there. That choking syndrome is there. Trust me. We just got to bring it out of him. And if that game is close going into the fourth quarter, I'm talking 2017 Michigan, 2017 Ohio State. Oh, hey, the Eminem song comes in. Palms are sweaty. Here comes Will Howard. Interception, fumble. Oh my goodness, could it be?
You watch yourself, Ghost.
Listen, man.
So
we know that this rivalry, bar none, best rivalry in all the sports. You could talk Yankees, Boston. You could talk Duke, North Carolina. But this is the one, guys. Whether you're a Michigan fan, whether you're an Ohio State fan or not, all eyes are tuning into this game. 12 p.m. Fox 5. Tune in.
So to what you were saying, that the 30 years, 2 championships each, I just want to point out 2 things about that. Look at the recruiting classes that we've had versus the recruiting classes Ohio State has.
Say it.
And I
Speak on it.
And we got the same number of championships. And then on top of that, when Michigan and Ohio State are both at the top of their game, Michigan wins. Ohio State wins when Michigan's a bad team.
Well, 06,
now the exception, right? 06 is the exception. But outside of 06, Ohio State wins when Michigan's a bad team. When they're both good teams, Michigan wins.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
I'm gonna tell you, in the 90s, 94, that they were undefeated. Charles Woodson, he put Terry Glenn in the locker. Freshman, he had an All-American mad. He said, "No, stupid, you get nothing, stupid. I don't like your team."
Hey, what you got to say about this? I put this up there. I wanted to know what you got to say about this. Let me find Buckeye JJ's comment again, because Buckeye JJ was going.
Yeah, and I'm not taking anything away from that 06 game. That game was stellar. And that, in my opinion, I've said it before, this rivalry is at its best when both teams are at the top.
Here we go. Buckeye JJ says, "We won the Natty in 02, then beat y'all 7 straight years." Okay. I think this was in response to you saying that they ain't have a 3-year run like Michigan.
They didn't, because
right.
Bro, listen, we only lost 1 regular season game in 3 seasons. Buckeye JJ, Google that. Let me know what 3-year run you had where you only lost 1 regular season. See, Michigan was elite for 3 seasons and we won the Natty. Y'all been elite for like 12 seasons and got 1 Natty. The math ain't mathing, homie. And those are facts. That's not even an opinion. Those are facts, whether you like it or not.
Jeez Louise in the comments going at people. It's hilarious.
Hey, I appreciate. Shout out to Jeez Louise, bro. Hold it down in the comment section. We got to make Jeez Louise a mod, by the way.
But again,
says, like, we beat y'all ass 17 years. Michigan being bad is a Michigan problem, not ours.
Absolutely. But the fact still remains, we beat y'all the last 3 years, and you guys had one of the best teams in the league every single year. Right. Outside of 06, when did we have a top team and y'all won? I'll wait.
Oh no, 2016.
You think that was a top team in the country that we had?
Yeah, we beat up. We were like
2016. If we win that game, we go into the playoffs.
We go to the Big Ten championship.
I mean, we were good, but I don't
Iowa. So I don't know how great that team was. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, we weren't 2016 that year.
That was the only.
I don't think we were a great team.
Yeah.
I mean, other than Ohio State, right? 2016 and Iowa, I think, beat us on like a last-second field goal. It was like 14-16 that game.
They left us on the field walk-off.
Right, yeah. So that team was very good. And we won that game. We should have won that game, by the way.
There was a big difference in the way that team felt compared to last year, for example. Like,
let me ask you guys.
Last year, it felt like we had a team of destiny during the season. Yeah. 2016 didn't feel like that.
No, it didn't feel like last year. Did feel like they were definitely more dominant last year. I'll give you that. But 2017 actually, Michigan's 2017 team was better than the 2016 team. Obviously, the results weren't better, but that was a better team.
No court. And look, and and back to it, right? Because we reach our 7 straight, bro. Your recruiting class has been amazing, man. Y'all have elite. Ohio State has been getting SEC type talent for over a decade, and you get guys like Garrison. Oh, and first of all, you need a lawyer. Yo, call my man Garrison. He gonna get you up out of anything. He just knows how to get up out of no. You got to understand that you had let's talk about from Dwayne Haskins, right? Rest in peace to him. High 4-star. From him, you get Justin Fields, which I'm not going to get into the griminess, the sliminess on how they got Justin Fields because that was dirty. But anyway, they got him anyway. A 5-star, 2 years in a row, right? After that, they get into CJ Stroud, another 5-star, 2 years in a row. Then Honda McCall, whatever you want to say, he was a 5-star. So you have 5 years straight of a 5-star.
Right.
Michigan has never had that in their program history. This is what I'm telling you, bro. It's obviously that if Michigan is got that type of talent, we're going to win natties. Ohio State uses excuses. Oh, but we beat y'all 7 straight. All right, in that 7 straight, how many natties you won?
No doubt. We're gonna open this next part of the this next segment up to the chat too. What are the keys to victory for Michigan? In the chat, y'all let us know what the keys to victory are for Michigan. If you are a fan of that other team, let us know what the keys to victory are, or do y'all think y'all just walking on the field is the key to victory? Which I'm sure some of you do believe. Posh said, "I love Garrison." Shout out to Garrison. That's my guy.
Hey,
he's always welcome here.
If we're doing call-ins, I want to get Louise and Posh on here to debate the game.
Oh, that would be dope. Posh, Louise, if y'all want to come up, join the chat. That'll be great. Goj, you're my guy.
Don't run. Nah, don't run.
Ghost does like to come in, say something, get out of here real quick.
Come in this kitchen because I'm ready to put oil on the oven. Don't play with me.
Right. Shout out to Carrington Wilkins with the big $20 super chat. Big OSU fan here. Stumbled upon y'all channel early in the season. Even though some of y'all O State takes feel overblown, I love the channel. And Maniac could be hype man any day. Mad respect. I need to call in sometime. Carrington, the link is in there. You can call in now.
As you see,
and we appreciate you too, by the way.
Many Buckeyes, man. That's here that we show love, man. We a respectful channel. We all for the banter, just like any other channel. All we ask is to keep it respectful. Nobody
don't make it personal
shots. Don't make it personal. Bottom line, talk your shit. Michigan ain't shit. We cool with all that. Just as long as it ain't personal, we good, man.
Isn't there another Buckeye show on at this time slot?
And before we start talking about the game, I just want to add one more thing to that last segment. I don't care what Garrison says. If you got a team that recruited that claims an off-season natty and you don't win the natty, that's a choke job.
Yes.
There you go.
You got a top 3 class every year. You get you claim in the off-season natty every year and you don't win the natty, or you don't even get to the natty. That's a choke job. Sorry, I don't care if you were favored in the game or not.
Right, you're kinetic. Thank you. Listen, but those are facts. That's not even an opinion. That's just truth. Imagine Alabama getting all that talent and only have 2 national championships.
Hey, and it is all love for Garrison. I like Garrison, but I'm just pointing out that
we do have some people in the
let's go. We need everybody.
All right, so we're doing the keys to victory. What we got?
Keys to victory. Lich Max, you were first. What are the keys to victory for Michigan?
All right, so it is imperative that we come out swinging. We definitely can't pull what we did like during the Texas game, which it was a hard game, but we could have closed the gap a little bit more. Hopefully, Will Johnson's back, but currently we don't. I think the current word going around is he's still out for the Ohio State game, so our defense is really gonna have to make
real quick. I do have an update on Will Johnson. Coach Moore has come out and said both Will Johnson and Colston Loveland are possibilities for this game. So,
that changes everything.
that changes everything.
That
Colston
changes
Loveland
everything.
definitely needs to play in this game, or I think the odds go down drastically. But go ahead, Lich.
So we'll go off the assumption that Will's not playing first. I'll make 2 points on both sides of the coin. So if Johnson isn't able to play, we're going to need our corners to basically play their hearts out, stick to their guys like glue. We can't let them get big plays off. Little small plays, we can shut those down underneath. We can't let them get over top of us, because that'll be the doom of us. Because there's not much we can do once they get ahead.
Hey,
We
one second. Lich Max, I'm sorry. 1 second. Guys, mods in the chat. Don't delete comments if they're not personal attacks or being disrespectful. We welcome the fans from other fan bases to come in, talk the trash, as long as they're not getting personal, or as long as they're not getting personal or taking shots at people on a personal level. Let it go. Don't delete normal comments. Sorry, Lich Max. Go ahead.
All right. So we need our cornerbacks stick to their assignments like glue. We can't let them get out. We are definitely going to need to get heavy pressure on their quarterback. We can't let him have time to make a decision. We got to make him make those error-ridden quick reads, so to give our guys a better chance of getting the ball back when we're on defense. And then on offense, we definitely need to establish that run game early. We got to make them respect the fact that we got two great running backs out there on our team. Got to make them realize they're there and they're a dominant threat on the field. On top of that, we definitely need to have Davis starting. I think Warren. We got to have Warren Davis out there. I think he did really good last game, other than that one read. But I honestly think that one bad read was just him giving them a helping hand, because he felt bad for Northwestern. I think he felt bad for how bad we were hurting him, and just wanted to give him a layup, you know.
No doubt.
And we definitely came out swinging, and I hope we follow that momentum going into this Ohio State game. And definitely Sharon Moore needs to be calling the plays in this OSU game. That's way too important to leave it up to chance.
Shout out to Lich Max, man. I like those points. Keegan, another friend of the show. You are up next, sir. What are the keys to Michigan winning this game Saturday?
Yeah, 1 and 2 is both the trenches. Defensive line against a I think nicked up Ohio State defense or offensive line, and the offensive line needs to play well. I don't know what that means, but they got to do better. And for one, last game they were setting up the run with the pass. So I guess the third would be to use the passing game to set up the run, and I think that helps the offensive line succeed. So that's the path to victory. Madman was correct to point out Sharon's press conference today, and it was pretty ambiguous that they didn't know if either one would start. I felt like the way that the press conference was, that Loveland was more likely to start than Will, but I think that Will is going to play if he can, and it's likely that it's probably a turf toe issue. But this is a good opportunity for Will Johnson to increase his draft stock. Not only that, but to go out, the champion that he is. So I would expect Will Johnson to play, actually, and I know they want that to be a surprise that works in our favor. So that's what I got.
No doubt.
I mean, if they do that, I've been calling that for a month now, Madman, that they were saving him for the Ohio State game.
I can't confirm.
Yeah, no doubt. You definitely have been saying that. I think so. For me personally, it's not even about Will playing in this game for the sake of playing in this game. I'm going to be honest, selfish reasons. I want to see Will Johnson match up with Jeremiah Smith. and Jeremiah Smith over the last few weeks hasn't been as dominant as he was earlier in the season. But that said, I do think teams have kind of like schemed to try to take him away. But I'm pretty sure Michigan will put Will on an island, a la like they did against Marvin Harrison Jr. a season ago.
And what they did with Roma Dunze and the Natty.
Right, like they did Roma Dunze in the national championship.
Man, that was fun to watch.
And have him go one-on-one with Jeremiah Smith. Now, granted, in that matchup against Marvin won some, and Will definitely won some. I think Marvin went over 100 yards in that game, but Will got that crucial interception that set us up, inside the 5 pretty much. So I would have loved to see Will. I would love to see Will versus Jeremiah Smith, mano a mano. I know Jeremiah is a freshman, but he is not built like one, and he is not playing like one. He is absolutely who they say he is. So that matchup would be fun to watch. Maniac, before you guys go, I'm gonna let y'all go. Mr. Jones, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. He says, as long as it's respectable, I don't care if we lose, but boy, if we win, OSU better buckle up because it's gonna be 2030s when they win again. If they can't beat us now, that's a fact, man. And by the way, they got to win, because if not, I'm gonna be unbearable. I'm gonna let y'all know that right now. Twitter is gonna ban me. I might get banned from YouTube. It's gonna be an unbearable time.
Real quick, Maniac, before you go, guys, one thing we're not going to allow in the chat is we're not going to sit here and talk about wanting to injure players. We're not going to make fun of players getting injured. I don't care. I look at the thing that happened with Seth McLaughlin going down, and I like the fact that I think that Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant are going to have a field day on the offensive line, but I'm not going to sit up here and celebrate a kid getting injured. I don't care what team he plays for. Malachi, that comment was out of bounds. Don't do that again.
What happened?
He put a comment in basically saying that he wanted to see somebody take a hit out on our best player and take him out of the game, injure him. We're not doing that from either side. We're not trying to prey on someone getting injured in this game.
Dexter Green said you like a teacher, but shout out, but he's absolutely right. We don't. That's not our style here.
Listen, man. I get it. I get how you feeling, champ. And I spoke to Madman about this, man. Some people, like I said, remember, I'm from New York City. For you guys who live in the state of Michigan and the state of Ohio that grew up on this rivalry is different for a lot of people. I mean, I don't agree with that. I would never sit here and say I want to purposely. I mean, shit, if it's a clean hit and he knock him out, hey, it is what it is. You saw what Hillman did to Indiana. But not injury, man. These guys put in a lot of work, man. These are young guys, man, and it's a game at the end of the day, bro. If Michigan wins Saturday, I'm not a millionaire. If Michigan loses, I'm not a millionaire. So basically, it doesn't change anything. But I get it. Feelings get involved. I get it. Sometimes Ohio State fans take you there because that's just who they are. Obnoxious. Not all of them. I'm speaking about all of them. The majority. It's like they get you.
That's like people celebrating Georgia winning over the Buckeyes when they took out Marvin Harrison and the Natty a couple years ago.
Well,
you don't want to win that. You don't want to win that way. I don't want to win by injuring your best player. I want to win with you at full strength on the field and we beat you.
No, we know, but
wanting someone to get injured to take them out in the game to be able to beat them, that's foul, man.
No. Listen, what I'm saying is, football is an aggressive game, man. It's played with a lot of aggression. And games like this, trust me, these dudes are going to, get ready to say pause. These guys are going to be laying a lot of wood Saturday. You know what I'm saying?
There's a difference between hitting somebody and wanting to take them out of the play, knock the wind out of them, whatever, and wanting to injure someone.
But no, I'm not saying to injure, man. I'm just saying so hard. I say if it happens clean.
Injuries happen, right?
It is, And that Marvin Harrison, let's be clear with that, right? The dude is not like he blatantly went for him, bro. He's a big dude. And the guy is small. If you're gonna try to knock the ball out of dude like that, you gotta hit him.
I don't think that was an intentional injury on that play.
It wasn't.
But I'm saying you don't want to win that way. Is why I brought that up.
But this is what sucks, right? This is what got it sucks that he had to go out like that because he was eating. Marvin Harrison was cooking Georgia. But how many 5-star receivers they had after he went out? More than
right.
So come on, man. You can't. If it's Michigan, oh well, stop complaining. Same thing. They hung the banner for losing to Georgia by 1 point. You didn't see it in Columbus. We almost beat Georgia 1 point. Oh my goodness. The way they celebrated that loss.
Hey, look, hold on though. When our guy went down last year, Zach, when he went down, when Zach went down in the game last year, if they'd have won that game, they wouldn't have been like, oh man, but Zach went down. And by the way, I'm not saying that you should like take something away from the win because Zach went down if they would have won, or that Georgia shouldn't feel like they won that game.
No, like you said,
because Marvin injuries happen. Guys are out there going full speed,
wanting it to happen.
No, I agree with that. We are in agreement. Yeah,
Can
go
I
ahead,
say something? I think it's okay to talk about as long as it's done in a respectable way because it was a real factor in the Indiana game. Maniac was right to point out that, I mean, Hillman knocked 2 receivers out of the game with clean hits, like with the shoulder pad.
Right.
So it is a real factor, and I expect that they will play Hillman some, and that it changed the Indiana game. It stalled the offense. So it is a real thing that we can discuss because I mean that's what happens in physical games.
But isn't there a line though? Isn't there a line though there for that? Like I want Hillman to get in. I want him to rock dudes. I want him to make them see stars and have to come out the game for a few series so they can get their bearings again. But I don't want anybody coming out of that game with a season-ending injury or a broken leg or anything like that.
Yeah, we don't want anyone to take an Aiden Hutchinson.
Like even when it happens and it's clean, like I'm praying for those dudes because this is a violent game. That's what football is. So if you don't like violence and physicality and aggression, then it's not the right sport, and it is a part of the game. So it's okay to talk about it, but you're right, Kinetic. There is a fine line of like hoping that somebody gets injured and being like that in the chat. So I mean I get that.
Yeah,
no doubt. And by the way, we're not hoping anyone gets hurt. We don't want to see anyone get hurt.
My bad.
And we hope everyone does leave the game as healthy as they came into it. So
correct.
There is that. Lich Max, I know you were trying to say something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. So like the takeaway for chat from this whole conversation is keep the disrespectful respectful.
There you go.
Like I think that would be the best takeaway from it. Like keep it between teams, not between people.
Absolutely, 1000%. I was supposed to do. It is 8:00 now, and I was supposed to join TJ and those guys to do a receipt check. But we didn't do the simulcast. We didn't set that up, so it's a moot point at this point because we can't do it. But I do have some receipts.
At some point.
I do have some receipts that I want to share with the people here. Give me 1 second because we gotta talk about these things. Y'all gotta stop this, or they're gonna be talked about.
While he's working on that, I want to remind everyone to hit the like button on the video.
Yes,
every like equals a touchdown in Ohio. So let's rack those points up.
Great point. Great point. I like that.
And I want to take a moment to thank all of our community that has contributed to my GoFundMe.
Yes.
Help me out. Even if it was just $1, I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for everything you guys have done to support me. Thank you guys.
I don't know if you guys can see this, but shout out to I think that's held to the Redskins HAO. But anyway, season is here. He says this. Ohio State was Ohio State before Ryan Day and will be after Ryan Day. No one is bigger than the program. UM fans fail to realize we're not tolerating 3 straight L's, let alone 0-5. He said this August 18th, 2023. Obviously, that was before the November football game in that same year. And
Y'all better
this
get a win this year because this
obviously
is your only
did
opportunity
not hold up.
in the near future.
We got another person join the chat. Kerrigan actually joined the chat. Gave a $20 super chat, and now he's here. How you feeling, sir?
Feeling good. Just want to let y'all know I love the show. I mean, I know I got to sit back here and listen to a lot of that mess, but I respect almost everything y'all got to say. Y'all keep it real. I love the people that y'all bring in, and just wanted to show y'all some love and but yeah, give you my outlook on the game. Just from an Ohio State perspective. I think this one really. You can look at one stat, and you got to wait a while. But in the fourth quarter, I truly believe this. All you got to look at is Davis Warren's attempts. I think if you get into the fourth quarter and he has 10 to 15 pass attempts, I guarantee you Michigan is probably winning this game, or it's a very tight ball game, because that means they're controlling the line of scrimmage and they're running that rock. I think if you look at it and he has 30 to 35 pass attempts, it's probably the other way around. I mean, I think, Maniac, I think he spoke on it, and a couple other. It comes down to the line of scrimmage. I mean, it's that simple. Being an Ohio State fan, I have my concerns with the team. I know a lot of us Buckeye fans could be obnoxious, but I try to keep it real. They're not perfect whatsoever. And my biggest concerns with the team this year, it is on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, we know Igbinosa is a penalty waiting to happen.
Man, we need to attack him all game long and try to draw that out of him.
Here's the thing, though. He is also, in addition to being a penalty waiting to happen, he's very sticky. He doesn't get beat a lot, like in terms of like you left him somewhere. He's always around.
Yeah, but I thought,
and the thing is, he doesn't even have to do that all the time. He'll be playing a receiver that he could just cover. That's not even like a high talent receiver. He'll be covering him and just be like arms all over him for no reason. I don't get that. I get it when you're playing against an elite receiver like that. The hands are going to go both ways, but why are you doing it against a guy you clearly outmatch athletically? Real quick before you respond, shout out to this for our Buckeyes that are in the chat. Y'all just got another recruiting win. Y'all just flipped Jordan Woods, cornerback from Cincinnati.
I was about to say the same thing. 3-star wide or corner. I'm sorry, from Cincinnati.
Well, that means
6'5". He's 6'5", though. That's crazy.
That means the other 5 stars out.
They flipped him until Michigan flips him back.
All right, but go ahead and respond to that. My bad.
Yeah, no, I mean, Igbinosa, I thought Indiana came out with the perfect game plan to start. I mean, they were attacking him. It seemed like every time they dropped back, until special teams went haywire for them, and kind of took them out of the game last week. And that's probably, my biggest worry. Just, Michigan game, if Ohio State wins going to Oregon and then into the playoffs, is your elite teams are going to attack that. But, I mean, I know you guys have had some watch parties and probably keep up with the Buckeyes just like I keep up with Michigan.
Sure.
And you probably noticed Ohio State struggles getting a pass rush with their 4-down linemen. Their defensive linemen has been a weakness, and so that's probably my biggest worry as a 4-down D lineman and the linebacker play against Michigan, just trying to control the line of scrimmage and stop the run. So I think the strength of Michigan can attack Ohio State's weakness, which is stopping the run against elite teams. We watched it against Oregon. They couldn't stop the run or the pass. So, I just wanted to hop in and give y'all my take, and I'll stick around if anyone has any no
doubt, man.
questions.
We appreciate that take. That was very sound.
I got a question for you. What's your name, brother?
Carrington. First name Carrington, last name Wilkins.
Yeah. So if Michigan does stick around in the game, how do you think Will Howard is going to respond, like on a last drive? Like, do you think he's going to be vulnerable to throwing an interception. I know that they're probably going to run him a lot this game. What are your thoughts on like a last drive?
So I know your guys' take on Will Howard is a bit different than mine. I thought he did, and I'm just going to go back to the only game I can compare last drive to is obviously the Oregon game, and obviously he had the big clock management error, which was probably a combination of him and coaching. But I actually thought he did well in that scenario. But again, I can't trust him because I haven't seen it. That's kind of the hard thing is when you're watching a college game compared to an NFL game. In NFL, you see that stuff every other week. Your quarterback having an opportunity to run a 2-minute drill to win a game. In college, when you're a team like Michigan or Ohio State, traditionally you're a powerhouse, you're better than everyone else. There might be 1 or 2 times a year when you have an opportunity to go down and win the game. So I am worried because he's shown that, he trusts his weapons too much, where even like last week, that ball to Thurman, he shouldn't have threw, and it got tipped up in the air and picked off. We've seen that a few times this year with him. So I can't say my confidence is high in him, but he has exceeded my expectations coming into this year for him. So I can't say I'm overly confident, but I think he can do it.
Yeah,
especially if Will Johnson does not play, which I personally don't think he should, because I don't think he doesn't owe Michigan anything. Personally, he's done all he can do for Michigan, winning the Natty and the 3 Big Ten championships. And to me, I think it's more important for him to protect his body, because he can't do anything to help his draft stock. He can only hurt it by going out there and getting hurt.
No doubt.
All right.
No.
I think you hit the nail on the head. If it is a game, it's going to come down to that final drive, probably where Will Howard has an opportunity. Last year, what's his name at Syracuse? Didn't have the legs.
Kyle.
What's up?
Kyle McCord.
Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, the legs could be a factor. You're right. And that could save like a final drive push for Ohio State, where it wasn't that way last year. But I think you could probably say equally, Will Howard and Kyle McCord are vulnerable to throwing that, ambitious final pick.
Most
which
definitely.
I'm a Michigan fan, so I think that if it is a tight game like that, that's a good possibility. So that's skewed thinking, but yeah, I appreciate you answering my question. That was good.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think
McCord,
Will Howard's a bad quarterback. I just don't think he's really an upgrade over Kyle McCord. I feel like they're pretty on par with each other. It just trips me out, the Heisman hype that so many OSU fans garrison that want to sit here and try to say that he's getting disrespected by not being on the Heisman watch list.
Well, I think that's more telling on the competition for the Heisman this year, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Yeah, it's really a down year. Normally quarterbacks run that, and it's going to be hard to even select one quarterback just because. Ward has the numbers, but has any quarterback really separated themselves or looked that dominant to be Heisman worthy? And then you have a running back, in the Mountain West that plays who, So I think
another point for me.
Yeah. So I think that's part of it. Is just it's a tough year trying to figure out who's the Heisman, who should be in the Heisman running. I do agree with you though. The eye test just with Howard. I think if you truly watch him, it's more of it's the same thing with McCord. I agree. They're very similar. They just have all the talent around them. It's just get them the ball and don't make the dumb mistake, which both of them have shown that they can do and will do. And to me, that's not a Heisman winner. It's just, they're not the same as Haskins and Stroud and Fields. You could look at those three and tell they were a difference maker, where McCord and Howard on Ohio State are distributors. if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
I do have a question for everyone here in regards to that last drive question. So if it does come down to one final drive to decide the game, like say we're tied final quarter, this is the final push for we'll say Ohio to make the final score to beat Michigan. Who do you think in that scenario is more equipped mentally to handle that kind of pressure? Who do you think would have the mental fortitude to be able to come out ahead in that kind of a scenario?
You talk about what side of the ball? Ohio State or Michigan?
Yeah, between Ohio and Michigan, and that's like Ohio on offense, Michigan's defense.
I mean, that's where the game's at right there.
Yeah,
Right.
that's tough.
That's a tough one. I think, man, Wink Martindale has been calling his ass off over the last, 3 games, I will say. Especially in the second half against Oregon, the second half against Indiana, he was really good. Now, granted, Michigan lost both of those games, but he was also really good this past week. And if he can keep that going, I am very impressed. That said, Ohio State has so many ways to skin the cat, and by that I just mean there's so many offensive weapons on that team, and not the least of which is Will Howard's feet. Will Howard, Will Johnson's feet is a totally different thing.
Calling him a turncoat now.
No. But Will Howard has extended drives for them. He's down by the goal line. He's a real threat. He's a real problem. Third and short, fourth and short. You have to account for him just as much as you have to account for Judkins or anybody else there. So that is where he puts so much stress on your defense and your defensive play calling, right? That's what I was hoping for that Michigan could get out of Orgy is the stress on the other team. Now, granted, Orgy just was never the passer of the football that Will Howard is, and Will Howard's not the greatest passer of the football, but certainly this year he's having himself a season. And so that's a real tough one for me to answer straight up. For most of the season, I think the answer would be Ohio State. But for these last 3 games, I like what Wink Martindale's doing, and I have to give it a push.
Yeah, Wink is adjusting to the college game for sure. We've seen it's been evident the past 3 weeks. He's figured it out, and he's not doing as many zero blitzes. So he's doing a good job currently. So I appreciate Maize, not wanting to forgive the past, because we all saw it, and we only have to judge what we've seen. So, but he has picked it up, and he's seeming to be finding his way. The safety position is still a concern, whether it's the starter or the backup. So that might even be a key to the game, but I hate roasting people. So
I mean, here's the thing. Ohio State on offense is more talented. Michigan on defense, still think is more talented, but the gap is smaller than it is on offense.
Yeah.
Ohio State has more paths to victory here. Michigan has 1 or 2 paths to victory and have to play a damn near perfect game. It's not impossible, but let's be honest. Ohio State has way more ways to get this victory than we do this year. And that's fine. Because like I said, this is y'all's year to do it. And if y'all don't do it this year, sorry. It ain't gonna happen.
But they're a 20-point favorite. They're a 20-point favorite.
And they should be this year. They should.
Well, I think that's crazy. See, I disagree.
I think that's crazy.
But in a rivalry game, especially in the rivalry game, records go out the window, man. People step up. People play above their skill level because they get the fire, they get the passion, and on both sides. So it becomes crazy unpredictable. I mean, we think it gets unpredictable with the Michigan State rivalry. It's on another level with Ohio State.
That's absolutely right, and they could still get their 20 points. They could. They could get 30. They could get 30 points. We don't know because we haven't seen the game. but it's a very important intrinsic value to say it's a rivalry. What's happened with Michigan's defense the past few weeks? Our offense actually did well last week. You have the Will Johnson thing that's in the air. You know, it could happen.
I
Yeah,
responded to Buckeye JJ's thing in the chat, man.
Yeah, no,
You'll
look,
like that. You'll like that response.
and it's simple. And I told man this many times, man. If there's one team that's gonna get blown out, if it's gonna be Michigan. If it's a blowout, it's gonna be Michigan getting blown out. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. That's the truth. And like you guys said, they have too many paths to victory. Michigan, listen, they got to keep it simple. They got to control the ball. Clock. How you control the ball, fellas? You run the ball. By running the ball. 3, 2, throw a 4-yard pass. Let these receivers work. Now, by it, we know our receivers is not going to scare the Ohio State secondary. But if you sleep on them, they can make some noise. We don't need them to be great. We just need them to be good and make plays here and there and sustain drives. Make sure that Ohio State has to drive the length of the field to score. Do not give this offense a short field, because that's Ohio State has about arguably the top 3 offense in the nation, man. You know, and I still don't think, I'm not a big believer in Will Howard, but no one could take away why he's been doing this season, man. He's been having a very good, solid season. He's always like 20 for 23, he's not with the Oregon game and interceptions here and there in certain games, but for the most part, Will Howard, he's been driving the Escalade or the Range Rover, whatever you want to call it, pretty good. He scratched it up. Don't get me wrong. He banged it up. It's still in motion. So Michigan is the trenches, guys. Again, if we got the best D-line, Saturday is the day to prove it. If that D-line is having a hard day, we might want to turn this game off by halftime.
Our defensive line has to get to Will Howard, has to keep him off his game. We have to find a way to limit. I'm not going to say shut down, but we got to limit Jeremiah Smith. We got to find a way to do it. Wink's got to find some way to do that while getting pressure on Howard. And then when we're on offense, we have to control the clock. We have to be able to get first downs. We have to keep Ohio State's offense on the sideline as much as possible and disrupt them when they're out there. And then, like I said, when I made the prediction, if Michigan's going to win, it's going to be a close win. I predicted it would be a game-winning field goal from Darth Zavada.
I hope it comes down to his leg.
It'll be something tight. I know like we're good. If Ohio State wins, it's probably a blowout.
Yeah.
And there aren't any elite teams anymore. You know, since the transfer portal and NIL, like, it's been distributed pretty evenly. So you never know anymore.
Last year's Michigan team, the last great team. Real quick, because I do want to answer Buckeye JJ here, and we gotta be really quick here.
I already answered him for you.
Right. What happens when Michigan needs to drive to score with the game on the line? I'm gonna go first here. I'm gonna be honest. I don't have confidence that can happen. We saw we needed a score against Oregon, right, to make that a 1-score game, put some real scoreboard pressure on Oregon. We did some play that I don't know where they got that from. Why Samaj Morgan had the ball in his hands at that time in the game on 4th down. It made no sense. We know what happens. All right, we lost.
If we're gonna do that, at least put it in Kendrick Bell's hand.
Put it in anybody's hands, if I'm being honest. Listen, my guy Donovan Edwards is like 100% completing passes, and I think they all go for touchdowns. It's crazy. So there's that. They needed a big drive against Indiana. We got nothing. Michigan hasn't proven in a situation where they need a drive that they can do it. Maybe USC. USC is the only game that I can remember that happened. And that was with a different quarterback. That was with a different game plan. That was with a different style. We were just going to run it. That was it. And I guess if we do that, maybe. But if it's a a time crunch situation, and we got to pass it, and the other team knows we got to pass it, I don't have a lot of faith that Michigan can matriculate the ball, as they like to say, down the field to get a game-winning score.
Well, that's kind of so. To that point, what actually would scare me more as an Ohio State fan is if Orji was the quarterback, because Ohio State, and this goes back to even with Urban Meyer, they cannot
don't do
stop
that to this channel. We've had
don't do
wars
that.
on this.
No, this goes back to Urban Meyer. They cannot stop a running quarterback. They just cannot. A mobile
Yeah,
quarterback
but Alex
will kill
Orji
them every
is not
time.
Denard Robinson.
No, and I agree.
He's a 15-yard quarterback for sure when it comes to passing.
No, I agree, but that was part of that drive, that USC drive was. I mean, he was just another player you had to account for. You know, I mean, and that's just
Until they
that's
figured
just
out
huge.
that you still don't have to account for his arm, and then it
Right.
no longer had to account for him.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
just wonder if Michigan will come out. They have nothing to lose. Will come out with special packages, because Orji's has hurt Ohio State in the past.
Mhm.
Now I know that was with McCarthy, JJ, but still, I mean, it's a problem Ohio State has never been able to solve. And definitely this year they struggled with all their mobile quarterbacks.
To that, I will add, I think that if it does come down to a drive from Michigan and they have to get down the field fast, I think it would actually be a decent idea to have Orji out there with split back, Donovan Edwards and Mullings on the field at the same time, and just take advantage of their run defense weakness and just run it down their throats all the way to the end zone.
That sounds like a decent idea. I just hope there's some creativity to it. You can't just line them up and split back and then say Orji power. Which is basically what they've been doing.
No, I think we should take a page out of UNLV when it comes to that kind of a thing, and just straight up just run options all the way down the field. With
just because it works when I play Madman in the college game doesn't mean it's going to work in real life on Saturday.
I think it might be enough creativity to throw them off and take advantage of their weakness on run defense, especially if they're lining up with 4 down, 3 down. I think it'll be enough to get us down there to get that victory.
Yeah, Michigan's gonna have to be creative, guys. They can't keep it simple. It can't be plain. We just not built like that offensively this season, where we could just line up, overpower anybody, or JJ with his arm and his legs, they can make a play. Or remember that touchdown pass to Roman Wilson last year, man. Wow, how he threw that needle. That shit was beautiful, right? So we don't.
And I don't care what Buckeyes say. That was a completed pass.
Oh, we know. But the point is this, man. Michigan's just gonna have to dig. They're gonna have to go in that bag of creativity and use it. Not saying don't overuse it, but use it. More screen passes, because Ohio State's gonna be aggressive. They're gonna come with pressure. You know what? Boom. Screen pass. Stupid. Hold that. Don't blitz me. Here we go. So if they could get creative, or how about this? If Sharon Moore is calling the play Saturday, I feel very confident that Michigan can move the ball. But
3 running back screens last game.
Real quick, man, I got to make this announcement. Hey, Burks C4 Rip Star, we are all rooting for the same team. We are on the same team, bro. I don't understand how this thing devolved in the way that it has, but yo, come on, bro.
There's more animosity
y'all.
in our chat right now than there is in the QB competition in Michigan.
He said, I haven't said anything. So I don't know what's going on. I haven't really been reading it. I did
Y'all
see
seen the video. Y'all seen the video of
this,
the pigeon instigating the fight between the 2 cats on the rooftop?
Keep it focused on the thing, man.
Rip Star's the pigeon.
There's a way to be a friendly troll.
Yeah, that's right. Listen, man, we get it, man. We want to left.
I'm not blaming anybody, by the way. I don't know who's to blame here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anybody is.
And we want to be clear here, man. One thing on the show we want to do is make sure that people could come here and voice their opinion. Matter if you're a Michigan fan, Ohio State, Indiana, we come up in here. Look, we got an Ohio State fan right here. He's been with us over 10 minutes chopping it up. Because it's all love, it's respectful, man. At the end of the day, Like I said, who's gonna get rich if their team wins on Saturday?
And with the right place
I
bet,
hope
you
I
could
do.
be.
Yeah, but what's the chances? You gotta bet. What's gonna be the bet? Lynch Max to get rich off that Michigan bet. Michigan by 50? You know that ain't happening.
Maniac,
mean-
you could be rich if you covered that Tyson fight.
Yeah.
Damn. No
Yo,
doubt,
you
bro.
circus? Oh my goodness.
Respectfully,
Fraud.
also, and that's to
Fraud.
everybody. Like I said, I don't know who's to blame in there, and I don't want to
Yo,
play.
it's
I'm
all
not gonna
love,
play.
guys.
I'm not gonna break it
I
up.
love you all, man. I was
Yeah.
in church yesterday. I prayed for y'all. Obviously,
Hey, yo, my man was good.
Anyway,
Anyway, we do need to wrap it up.
I look like the Puerto Rican Inspector Gadget.
Hey.
Hey, listen.
No doubt. Hey, Kerrigan, I gotta thank you for hopping up today, man. We appreciate it. Don't be a stranger.
And
Come back
super chat, man.
anytime.
Thank you.
Obviously,
I'll be back after the game. Yeah, I'll come back. I'll come back after the game on Saturday.
Yeah, because we gonna be
win or
here.
lose.
Yeah.
Win or lose, I'll be there.
Yeah. By the way, we will be on the Buckeye Boys podcast 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. On Friday.
Make sure y'all
Me and the Maniac. So be sure to check it. I need everybody in this chat to be over there because it's a hostile territory.
Yeah.
I know they're gonna be on our head tops.
Friday.
Yeah, Ripstar, we need you over there. Burks, C4, all of y'all. Kinetic, be over there.
Oh yeah,
Keegan,
I'll be there.
Keegan, be over there. Lich Max, we need you over there. Lich Max, of course. Thank you. Lich Max is the architect of the Discord. Pretty much, he and Kinetic put that thing together.
If have any issues, just let me know. Also,
No
go
doubt.
blue.
Go blue. Much love to them. My guy Keegan, friend of the show, we definitely appreciate your time.
Yes,
Keegan, you always have some good takes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my turnover department hat on the call-in show and my gold Elvis glasses. So I'm ready to go for the post game. I'm gonna show my face. So
yeah. Don't worry, man. Look. This is one thing, regardless of the outcome. I mean, it would be great. We win Saturday, whichever Mickey Mouse Bowl we go to, the Disney World Bowl.
Damn it, man.
We go there, play whoever, win that. But we know that the off season we already looking good. We just gotta piece it together. That's all we gotta do. That's it.
Yeah, we going to the.
Not mess this up. He cannot mess this up going into next season.
Yeah, we going to the Container Store Bowl.
not if we beat Ohio State. We'll get a good bowl matchup.
We beat Ohio State. We should make the CFP. No, I'm
no, that's gone.
Oh, but you heard. I don't know how true this was, but I heard that I don't know when. Again, I don't know how true that they were looking to make the NIT version of college football. So you know how you get
a playoff for
So
for us.
Correct, like the loser playoff.
That'll happen the day OSU would.
We definitely opted out of that.
But you know what
they'll call the AD. They'll call Tony Petitti. Then they'll call the NCAA rule.
No, but that's no. I'm talking about. That's what they've been talking.
Hey, this is a good one. I actually want to play Florida.
I want us in a bowl game against LSU just so we can, rub it in a little bit more.
That would be great too. That would be great too. Yeah,
one of those.
Go to if we go 6-6, no capital. We'll probably play in the Tennessee Tax Slayer Slap Your Mother Bowl, whatever that is. Well, but Tennessee might be in the playoffs, so we won't be playing them.
Well, definitely not playing. No, we're gonna be playing Navy.
We're gonna play LSU in a bowl. And we're gonna have Meadows and Bryce on the sideline.
We playing Georgia Tech in the the Nerd Bowl. Is what we play. Anyway, and everybody, thank you again in the chat for joining us live one more time. We will be back sometime this week. By the way, we got to have Garrison on. We're gonna have all these people on because it is Hate Week. We can't just leave y'all with the Monday show. We got to do some more. Anyway, till next time, you know the slogan. Stay angry.